Hi, this is Kris German. Welcome back to the Apartment Dealer Show. Today is the first episode as I walk you through another multifamily property that I personally have purchased, my wife and I. And I'm going to walk you through the deal structure itself. What are the capital improvements that we're going to be making to the property and for what reason? What does it mean in terms of building equity into the property? That's pillar one, building value in the property from within, maximization. And then second, what's going to be most meaningful to get those above market rents? That's what matters, cash flow, income. And so let's walk through it now. So this property is 4 individual multifamily units spread out across 2 buildings, 2 duplexes, if you will. And the units are cookie cutter, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, essentially all the same. And I was fortunate enough that upon the close of escrow, 2 units were actually delivered vacant. And if you know anything about trying to do capital improvements here in California, given the restrictions, vacant units are like gold, and so we have 2. Let's take a look at the first unit. So this unit was actually rented by a long-term tenant, as I'm told, from the seller's agent. And apparently the gentleman lived here close to 30 years, which you can tell by the yellowed walls and just the use of the unit itself. But let's give you some idea here. So if you've seen any of our renovation projects, number one, we don't do carpet. To me, it's more costly, it's more of a headache. Every time a tenant moves out, typically you're gonna be turning this over, and it's not appealing. Tenants do not want carpet, especially the tenant base that we go after when we're looking for those aggressive rents, so that this will entirely be changed out to tile. So let's talk about the windows. The easy fix here, a cheap fix, would be to use a box window. A box window is you use the existing window frame and you just take out the current window and slide in what's known as a box window, nail it in, seal it, and you're done. Well, that doesn't add to the appeal of the property. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with a retrofit window, especially because this is stucco exterior. We don't wanna do a nail-in window because that just opens a whole can of worms. So we're gonna go with retrofit. But once we do that, then we're able to get rid of the window seal and just make it look more modernized, both from the interior and the exterior. So this window itself will stay the same size and scope of what it is. These windows here though, as opposed to being a 3-piece window, we're gonna blow the whole thing out and this will become one large window. It'll let in more natural light. Again, it'll give it more of that modern feel that we're looking for. And of course, we're going to get rid of the window seal at the same time. Aside of getting rid of the carpet and all the existing flooring and going with tile completely throughout, you look at these baseboards. Now, I could leave them. They're not cracked or what have you. We could spray over them. That's not going to help us. So we're going to go with about a 5-inch base molding. And as you take a look at the plugs and switches, again, they're in working order, but we go with something that's more modernized, Decora. So we're going to change out all the switches and plugs. And we're also going to change out all the electrical. Given the age of this structure, something built in the 60s, needless to say, it's worn. And so when we dig into these properties, most times we also change out the electrical and we update the sub panel. While we're at it, get it just one and done. And same thing with respect to the plumbing. Most times we're going to swap out all the galvanized plumbing for copper. Maybe we'll use PEX pipe in limited spaces, but for the most part we go with copper. I just feel more comfortable with copper. But why would I put new electrical and plumbing when maybe it's not necessary, right? The plumbing still technically works because I don't want any maintenance calls. I don't have the time nor the patience to nickel and dime a property. So since it's vacant, and we can open walls and do what we need to do, electrical and plumbing will get done. Now, with respect also to electrical, you see this light fixture, this will not work. So we're gonna change out eliminate this light fixture and we're gonna go with all recessed lighting. It probably will amount to about 6 lights in this room. And as we head into the dining room, this is a good size window. They actually had changed this window out. This is an aluminum window, but it's not original, but still for what we do, we're gonna blow that out and again, put in a retrofit window, get rid of the window seal. This light fixture will get eliminated. What we may do here is put a ceiling fan just to help circulate the air. And then in the kitchen, we're definitely gonna go with recessed lighting. Now the kitchen layout will generally stay about the same, but we're gonna add some more cabinetry on this wall and you'll see how that comes together. We're gonna redo how this cabinetry is laid out here. And then this unit's very nice in the sense that off of the kitchen, you have this small, some people would call it a utility room. It'll become for us a laundry room. We already have plumbing ready to go. This water heater's in the way, so we're gonna take this water heater. We're either gonna go with a tankless water heater and mount it up here, or depending on cost and as we analyze the project, just take the water heater and move it outside, so that gives us this room, so that then the tenant can put side-by-side washer and dryer. Why would we do that? Because we're gonna get more rent at the end of the day. Okay, so nobody's gonna use this heater. I doubt that that heater even works. So we have one of two options. We can go with a split unit, and if we go with a split unit, which means the blower sits on the wall, the condenser's outside, they're mini split, some people call them. We would mount it here in the living room, and we can do that, and that would be AC and heat, or we'll put a AC into the wall, assumably probably somewhere up here, depending on the framing. Put the AC up here, which means we need to put a plug, and then we do the same thing and put one in the bedroom. Again, we're gonna analyze the cost with the contractor to determine which direction we go there. Now, the contractor and I did do, this also will get obviously eliminated because the ACs, whether it's a split unit or in the wall, will both cool and heat the unit. Now, this cabinetry here, it's set back, I assume, because of this double-sided heater. Well, since that's getting eliminated, we're gonna pull this cabinet forward so that it sits essentially flush with this wall. And by doing so, if you come into the bedroom, the contractor tells me instead of just having one set of closet doors here, we're gonna actually be able to open this up from the inside because we're pushing that cabinet forward to about here or so. And we'll actually get two separate closets in here, which will make it nice. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. How often do you see double closets? Next to none. I can tell you because I sell multifamily properties for a living. So that's gonna be a nice feature, which is gonna cost us pennies on the dollar to do. And it's just something that, again, adds appeal to the unit. We want our unit to be a tiebreaker as tenants are going from unit to unit, choosing their next home. And number one, we want them to, when I say tiebreaker, they choose our unit over another. Why? Because we have the look and the amenities that basically knocks it out of the park and no one can really compete. Now, as Matt, my cameraman, swings around, I mentioned earlier, if we do two ACs, one would go in the bedroom, assumably that one would go somewhere here. I imagine this maybe was for a small AC unit at one time. This is gonna get filled in and patched. We're no longer gonna need that. They also had this, which I'm not sure if it's an AC or a swamp cooler, but at any rate, that's gonna get eliminated too. New windows in the bedroom as well. Now the bathroom, if we can fit together, I'm gonna show you another unit that actually the seller already rehabbed. And what we found out by looking at that other unit is that right now what you have here is you have the toilet, small sink, and then only a stand-up shower. More times than not, people prefer, especially if you only have one bathroom, they want a tub. They don't want just a stand-up shower. Well, we actually have the width that we need to blow this out and put in a traditional or a standard size tub, I should say. We'll have to eliminate this window. So we're gonna eliminate this window and then we're gonna put a window up above, a rectangular window that will sit above the shower tile, and you'll see that in the other unit. It'll give it an open feel. We'll get the tub in that people are looking for. We'll go with a pedestal sink, and it's just gonna help give the bathroom itself that much more appeal. Now, another nice feature of this property, another reason why we liked it, is because in the back, there's this wide open breezeway, if you will. And as we took a look at it, it's really not a necessity that this be completely open, and we realized that tenants would prefer to have their privacy. So what we're gonna do over time is we're gonna build probably a wooden fence in between each unit. There's no need for block wall between the units. Put up a wood fence here, wood separation. Someone poured concrete not that long ago. So each of these units right outside the door has a nice little concrete pad for them to put out some chairs and so forth. And then each one also has about the same size open area where we would break this concrete up, and we're gonna put some landscaping here. Either put some artificial turf or put row grass, depending. And so, and then also put a divider, so that essentially what will they have? Each one will have its own private backyard. That means a lot to tenants. Again, if you're renting, you're cooped up in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, if you can have some outside space, that definitely adds to the appeal of the property. A couple other things that we have to do. You'll see here that there's this light that apparently is on 24/7. Follow the extension cord, ties into a plug that's connected to the structure with the garages. We actually have, and I'll show you, each unit is separately metered for electricity and gas, and that typically is the case unless you're buying a really old property that's master metered. So we have 4 electric meters, 4 gas meters. Tenants pay their own electricity and gas, except I also have a 5th meter. And after doing some research, right now the meter is live, but there's nothing pulling power from it. I originally thought that the garage lights, the lights that are here in the interior of the garages, pulled the power. That's not the case. And looking at the permitting history, the previous owner pulled a permit to put a laundry room in the garage at one point. So he got the permit for the electrical meter and didn't go any further. There's not a laundry room. But I like having the 5th meter because then that'll allow us to put a timer if we choose to go with sprinklers, put security lighting. It'll be on our meter because, again, you cannot tie it into a tenant's meter. If you do, then you have issues with electrical usage and could have some liability there. So having this 5th meter means a lot. We're gonna be discussing with the contractor, okay, how do we tie into it? It is live, but how do we tie into it, bring service, and service what would be known as the common area of the property, security lighting, motors for the garage doors, sprinkler timer, and so forth. Okay, this is the second unit that was delivered vacant at the close of escrow, and this unit actually has been cleaned up somewhat. We're gonna redo it Kris's style, but this will give you an idea of the layout of the bathroom that we're looking for. So let's take a look. Same idea here. Now it's been updated. Instead of the old carpet, they put new carpet. Again, I would have went with tile if it was me. It's going to be tile when I'm done. They updated the windows. They put in a block window, as I mentioned before. We're still gonna take these out. We're gonna replace them with retrofit windows. Now, if you're thinking, well, Kris, why would you do that? Well, the property has to match. I know we've all seen properties where one unit has retrofit, another unit has different windows. That's just not what I do, and it's only gonna cost a few more dollars. This is a fairly new wall heater, or not as old as the original one we saw. Same idea though, we're gonna be installing a mini split or 2 ACs, so that'll get eliminated either way. This kitchen, just a little bit more bright to give you an idea. At least they have some cabinetry on the left side. So when we're done with the kitchen, we're gonna mimic more of what's here. Cabinetry on both sides, stove on this side, room for a refrigerator. You really wouldn't have room for a double door refrigerator, more of a single door, but it is an apartment. And in this space here, same idea. Whether we go with a tankless water heater or we move the water heater outside, we have our plumbing. So somebody had a washer at some point in here, but we have our plumbing, we have our gas. And so we're gonna set it up so that the tenant would have access to a washer and dryer. Now, if we swing over to the bathroom, this will give you an idea what I had mentioned earlier about being able to put in a full-size tub. So I'll let Matt step in, and so you'll see this is essentially what we're going to do to the other bathroom. We're gonna open it up here and essentially use the same type of pedestal sink and so forth. Now this just won't match with the decor that we have in mind for the unit. So while we're gonna keep the tub, we are gonna remove the tile. Of course, we're gonna keep that window. We're gonna retile it because we always tile our showers. Luckily for me, they already built in the shampoo bowl. So all I gotta do is retile this, retile the floor, and we're good to go there. Same thing will be here. They updated the doors on the cabinets, but we're gonna put a brand new floor to ceiling pantry style cabinet. So that'll get pulled forward. And again, we're gonna go with the double closets, change out the windows, flooring will be tile. They have a cutout here for the AC. I'll speak with the contractor. There may be a reason why this is a better location than my idea of having it here. If we choose to go with the 2 ACs, so we'll figure that out. I'll take the contractor's recommendation there and we'll see how it goes. Let's head over to the garages. You might be looking at these garages and say, well, that's interesting. How do you park cars in these garages? Well, you can't. For whatever reason, the previous owner put this chain link fence and basically blocked off the garages and told the tenants they could use them for storage, but not for vehicles. Well, we're gonna undo that. We're gonna take down this chain link fence. We're actually gonna take down not only the chain link fence here, we're gonna take it all the way down, all the way around, because you just don't use chain link fence today. And to give the property some security in between the buildings and from the garages to the first building, we're gonna put wrought iron fencing. But other than that, we're gonna make this open. We're gonna redo the landscaping. But most importantly, we're gonna give the tenants access because again, we have 4 rental units. I have 4 garages. Of course, I wanna offer a garage to each of the tenants that will only maximize the rents that we're able to ask. If you're catching my drift, everything is geared towards what will allow us maximum rent. A garage will do just that. So that gives you a glimpse of this project as we take it on. We'll begin the demo next week. And I'm told, again, this will be a 4 to 8 week project. Who knows, once you begin to dig into things, sometimes there's delays. But we're gonna walk with you every step of the way as we go through demo and as we begin to put in the electrical and the plumbing, and you'll be a part of the conversations that I have with the contractor each week so that we get those updates and we can share with you how the project's coming. And then probably most meaningful to you, at the very end of this series, the final series, we're gonna break down the financials. How much did the property cost? How much did we spend on capital improvements? Where did we end up in terms of the rental rates? And what's my cash on cash return? And then you'll be able to decide for yourself whether this property was a winner. Kris German from the Apartment Dealer, wishing you positive cash flow, tenants who behave, and much protection from Uncle Sam. Till next time.